Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Friday. Okay, let's start off with a time and temperature check since I haven't been doing that for a while. The time is currently 3:08 p.m. and the temperature, you know what, it's easier if I just look it up online. The temperature in Indianapolis right now is 35 degrees. A warm and toasty 35 degrees in Indianapolis. No, not really. Okay, so my plan today has kind of changed. My plan was that Alex had some appointments today. His last appointment was at 3 o'clock. He should be done by 4 and then he'll be home. But he left here about 1:30. My plan was that I was going to get up and I was going to film a bunch of videos today. I have a drama video that I wanted to film. My whole list is over here. I had a drama video that I wanted to film, a Peterisms video that I was going to film, a review video. I was going to do the, I still haven't unboxed it yet, the, what do you call it, the walking pad, and then I was going to catch up with season 3, because I caught up finally last night, of 1,000 Pound Best Friends. I do not have a booktube video that I was going to do today, and then my vlog. So that was, I was going to film like 6 videos today. That is not happening. So I woke up earlier. Last night when I was watching TV shows, my throat started to hurt. Like it started like really itching. And I was like, I hope I'm not getting sick. And, but my throat started itching. I didn't feel sick other than just my throat. My throat was itching. And, I hadn't really, you know, I know that this doesn't get you sick, but I hadn't really been outside a whole lot, you know, yesterday and stuff like that. And it's not like I'm around a bunch of people to get sick. So I was like, how would I have, you know, gotten sick? Alex isn't sick. Nobody that he works with is sick. But my throat was kind of itching last night, like itching and sore. So I went to bed and I woke up this morning at like 9:30 and I was just like, my throat, I mean, it was like I had to cough to like stop it from like itching and hurting. I don't know if you know if that makes sense. But anyway, my throat was like really hurting. And I was like, oh, damn it. Like, I wanted to film all these videos today. So I had my alarm set for like 12:20. So I was like, I'll just go back to bed. By the time that I wake up, I'll probably feel a little bit better. Alex got up, I think he got up about 11. And he was like not feeling great either today. And I was like, do you not feel great? He's like, no, I don't feel great. And I was like, my throat itches. And my throat's kind of like hurting a little bit. It like hurts back here and then it itches like right here. It's better now than it was earlier. But I don't have a fever. Physically, I feel great. Like, I could go run a marathon. Physically, I feel great. I'm in a good mood. I just, like, my throat is hurting. And so, I was telling Alex, I was like, well, I was planning on filming all these videos while you're gone, but I think I'm just going to take the day, and I'm just going to do my vlog. And at that point, when we were talking earlier, like, my throat was real scratchy. Like, you could hear it in my throat. I've had some tea. So we have this tea, this like natural tea that's like, you know, throat soothing tea. I've had some of that tea and I've had a throat lozenge and my throat feels a little, it's still a little itchy and hurts a little bit back here. But I don't know. I don't feel like I'm getting like fully sick. I just feel like, I don't know what it was. I didn't even film that. If I had come off of a day where I had filmed, if I had come off of a day where I'd filmed like 7 videos, then maybe it would make sense. Sometimes, you know, if I film a bunch of videos all day long and it's like, you know, I start at like 1:30 or 2 and then like I don't finish until like 8 or 9 o'clock at night and I'm talking on the phone and stuff like that. Sometimes I do kind of run my voice out a little bit. If it was a day like that, then it would make sense to me. But I just filmed a drama video yesterday and I filmed my vlog. That was it. So, yeah, so I'm just going to film my vlog today, and then, I know this isn't really rusting my voice much, but to be honest with you, I'm kind of bored. I read a lot last night. I caught up on a lot of shows, so unless I start a new show, me just like sitting around here, I just don't, this is the thing, I feel good today and I'm in a good mood. I just don't feel energetic enough to be like, it's one thing to sit in front of a camera and just be like, I know you guys are probably like, well, you do the same thing on every channel, but it's one thing to just like sit here and kind of tell you guys what's going on in my life. It's another thing to like be like, hey you guys, and you know, like, I ain't feeling it today. I'm just not, you know, I'm not feeling it today. And my drama video was like drama and like flipping fans and stuff like that. And I don't have the energy for it today. I just don't. I don't have the energy for it today. I don't have the energy for the boom booms. for the review video and stuff like that. See, it kind of hurts to swallow a little bit. I'm sure I'll be completely fine tomorrow, and this is just like, you know, a 24-hour thing or something like that. So anyway, still cold in Indianapolis. Alex went to dinner with his girlfriends last night. I don't know if I was vlogging or if he had left, and then I don't remember how that happened. But anyway, he must have been home when I was vlogging, or because he didn't leave until later. So anyway, he wasn't gone that long, actually. He was home by like 10:30. Last night, I thought we could like maybe catch up on some shows and stuff, but he's like, let's just do it tomorrow night, because he was really, really tired. So he was like, he came home and he got in bed and he was like looking at TikToks and stuff like that. And so I went upstairs and we like talked, and he was like telling me about his dinner and all that kind of stuff. I don't remember now, like when I was vlogging, I'm like looking at the vlog from last night, but I don't remember what time I filmed it. Why does it look like it was still like, I'm like, was it light when I filmed last night? Oh, it would have been earlier. It probably would have been before he was home from work. Oh, it would have been before he was home from work. Yeah. So he got home from, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. He went to dinner last night for his friend's birthday. And then they were going to go to this. So they went to this restaurant. It's called Christopher's Steakhouse or something like that in Carmel. We went one time with two couples that we're friends with. It's a steakhouse. It's a nice steakhouse. It's in Carmel, which is like a suburb. It's where we both grew up. It's like a suburb of Indianapolis. It's like in this old town little area. There's like lots of like restaurants and shops around there. And then they were going to go to this bar afterwards for her birthday, and the bar is called 3 Up. But by the end of dinner, nobody felt like going to the bar, so they didn't go to the bar. I told him when he got home, I said, y'all are getting old. That you're not wanting to go to the bar. He goes, I know, we're getting so old, aren't we? But anyway, so yeah, so he came home and then he was looking at TikToks and stuff like that. And then I was like, I'm gonna lay down and take a little bit of a nap, because I'm really excited to read my books tonight at midnight and then watch some shows and just relax and stuff like that. And so he was like, okay, so I lay down and I took a nap, and then when I woke up, he was asleep. So he went to bed rather early last night. Okay, I'm gonna light my candles. Here is the Great Hall, which pairs great with the snowfall. Which I have a funny story about the snowfall. If anybody has suggestions for me on this, because this is something that I seem to do quite a bit. So do you remember the candle that I had outside that somebody told me to put on the candle wax warmer, and that then it would expose the wick? Okay, so what happened was I had that candle out there, and then I think it was like, I moved the table or something, and the wax kind of like went like that, and then it like flooded like the wick. And so then when it like cooled over the wick, and the wick was hidden. So instead of going digging for the wick, somebody said, put it on the candle wax. So the warmer is like this light. This is a great gift. If you want a great Christmas gift for somebody actually that watched my videos years ago sent this to me, and I still have it in the kitchen, and I love it. I mean, it's probably 6 or 7 years old, and I love this thing. You wouldn't need a lot of them. You would probably only need like one in the house, unless you wanted to have like one in the bedroom and one in the kitchen, because they really do like put off like a strong scent. I just made some coffee, so I made the Barney's Santa's White Christmas coffee, so hold on. But what it is if you look it up, let me see if what it's called on Amazon. I will tell you what it's called on Amazon. Hold on a second. Candle wax warmer. No, it's not a wax warmer. Candle warmer lamp. Okay, if you put in candle warmer lamp, yes, a bunch of there's a lot of really cool ones that come up. I'm like trying to see if the one I have is on here. I'm not seeing the one that I have, but there's a lot of really cool ones. There are different styles. There's modern ones. There's kind of like homey ones. There's all different ones. So what they are is, it's a lamp that's like this, and then you put the candle underneath here, and then from the top, it warms the candle. So you don't light the candle. It's supposed to be better for you, somebody told me. I don't know. I have the sugar cookie one in there. I think it's the sugar cookie Yankee candle in there. And all I know is that when you turn that thing on, it really smells like the kitchen. But it doesn't like burn the candle or anything. It just warms the wax. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, somebody told me to put, in the vlogarinos, or the vlog, y'all, somebody out there that watches my vlog told me, take the candle from the outside and put it on the candle warmer, because then that will expose the wick. Well, I had it on there, and okay, those Our Own Candle Company candles, the candle wax, the mulled cider that I got, it's fantastic. But the candles, they're not as great as I remember them being. They don't really, like, they burn really, really, like, I don't know, like, they don't throw off a lot of scent, and they burn kind of weird, and then the inside of the glass gets really black, even though, like, and tarnished, like, even though I, like, lower the wick. I would not recommend those candles. I love my story and my history with the candles, so I might, in the future, buy more of them. But, like, every single one that I burn, and I don't have, I have 3 left out of all those that I bought, because I have them up on the counter. I have 3 left. There's not really one that I loved so much. I bought the candle waxes because I just happened to see them on Amazon. And I was like, oh, I've never bought the candle waxes, I don't think. So let me get the candle waxes. The candle waxes and the candle wax melter, they actually work stronger than the candles. But anyway, why was I saying that? Oh, because that one. So I brought it in and I had it on the warmer forever to, like, expose the wick, and it never happened. I don't know if somebody meant, like, warm it up so, like, it softens the wax and then dig for it. But anyway. So last night, when I had the candles lit here, and I had the Snowfall by the Santa's Naturals, which is, like, my favorite candles ever. They are so strong. I will say this, last night I had 2 of them burning. I had the Winterberry and the Snowfall, as well as 4 other candles and a candle wax melter. I will tell you this, if you don't like strong candles, this is not the candle for you. But I totally swear by these Santa's Naturals, and you can get minis, and you can also get this size. This is, like, the main size. If you get 3 of these, they're $39.99. It says on here that it burns for 30 hours. I don't know. But anyway, so I have these burning here last night, right, when I was vlogging. And then this one I blew out and I kept over here. But this one I moved into the kitchen. Okay, well, when I did, I'm not being very careful with it. And the wax, like, went over the wick. And then it blew out. And I wasn't paying attention to it. And so the wick got hidden. So I had to dig, I don't know if you can see, but I had to, like, dig with a knife to get the wick exposed. And the first time I did it, I was, like, getting real mad. I was talking to Tanya on the phone when I was doing it. I was like, do you ever do this? She's like, I've never done it. I go, you've never done that in your entire life? And she started laughing at me. She was like, no. She was like, it takes an idiot. I go, Tanya, you're calling me an idiot. And she's just laughing and stuff like that. She's probably done it 100 times. So anyway, so I'm digging into this candle. I don't know if you can see, like, the little candle shards on the side over there. So I'm digging. Is it going over my computer? So I'm digging into this candle. I finally get the wick exposed, and then it won't light. And then I had to dig even farther, and then it lit. So that was my major drama from last night. Okay, so what was I talking about? I don't even remember what I was talking about. I was talking about, I don't feel great today. I was going to film all these videos. Now I'm just going to film my vlog. Tomorrow I'll probably do that. Oh, we're watching shows. Oh, so Alex got home from last night from dinner earlier. I don't even remember what I was talking about, how I got into the candles and the candle warmer and all that kind of stuff. Oh, because I was probably lighting the candle. So let's light the Snowfall candle. Since I worked so hard, I finally did get it last night. So let's light the Snowfall candle. This one, I mean, it really does smell like Christmas trees and like a bonfire. I mean, I don't know if it smells like a bonfire. Snow and a Christmas tree farm. It smells really strong, like strong balsam. It's really nice. They pair together so well if you want 2 candles together. This one I got on Etsy. This one is called Christmas in the Great Hall, which I'm sure is referring to Harry Potter. So anyway, so yeah, got up from my nap last night, slept very deep, felt good when I got up from my nap, and then I, well, it wasn't yet, it was like, I can't remember what time I got up from my nap. Alex must have got home earlier than that, because I feel like I woke up at like 11 from my nap, and I took like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I laid down about, oh, you know what? What? He must have got home earlier than that, because I laid down from like 9:30 to 11:30, so when I got up, it wasn't time to read the Christmas books yet, because you have to wait till midnight to read the Christmas books, the Advent calendar books. So I came down here and I lit the candles, but I didn't put the wax melts in last night. And last night I did put the mulled cider in last night, because I was like, I gotta try something different. I've got all these waxes, and every night I use the happy wax, so I was like, I've got to do something different. So I was like, I still have to buy Christmas presents for Caroline's son, for Caroline, and for Alex. And I was like, I've got to figure this stuff out. Like, I've got to, you know what? I just remembered. I sat down here actually last night, because when I looked, I had 1 sleep tea left. And so I sat down here to order sleep tea, and I ordered a bunch of other stuff for everybody else, and I didn't order the sleep tea. So I got to do that today. I got to remember that. Okay, so anyway, I sat down here and I had a list on my phone. Like, Alex had texted me, like, a bunch of stuff that he wants. And so I went through there and, like, picked out a couple things. And then Caroline had told me what she wanted. And so I got Caroline some things. I got her son some stuff. And so I am completely done for Christmas. All I have to do is get a gift card for her husband. Caroline's like, you don't have to get Mike anything. He doesn't care. He literally doesn't even sit in the room with us when we open presents. He's like watching a game on TV. I'm like, Caroline, I was like, just tell me. She's like, Lowe's. Something like Lowe's or Home Depot. He loves us just to go around those places. So I'll get him a gift card from there. But that's the only place that's the only thing that I have left to get. I've got something for my mother-in-law. I'd like to get something else, but if I'm out and I see something, then I'll get her something. But if not, then what I have is good enough. So I'm done. I'm done Christmas shopping, and it's like, this is the earliest I've ever been done Christmas shopping in my entire life. Earliest ever. I can't believe it. Seems weird. So okay. So I got done with all that shopping stuff online. And then I went in and I put the candle waxes in, and then at that point I sat down and I read my books. I finished the night before The House Without a Christmas Tree. And, it was okay. And so I had the Advent Calendar books, but then I also had The Great Christmas Kidnapping Caper. And I looked and I had 5 chapters left to read of it. And each chapter was like 6 or 7 pages. So I read 2 chapters of that first because I wanted to end on the scarier books. And I read Xmas Break, which is, it's just like, it is such a slow tease. Okay, it's not that big of a story, and so she spread it out over 25 days. And so it's like each chapter is a little bit of a tease. I understand, like, not 25 days, Xmas Break. 25 days is like each chapter kind of ends on a cliffhanger, but I don't know how to explain it. It's not like so much like, and the chapters are a little bit longer in 25 days. They're not long. I mean, they take like 10 minutes to read. But by the end of it, I'm like, I can wait until tomorrow to like read the next chapter. I get kind of excited about it. Xmas Break, I'm just like, get to it already. It's kind of how I feel. There's a difference. Like with 25 days, I look forward to reading the chapter. With Xmas Break, the other Advent Calendar book, I'm kind of like, just get to it. Like something happened. Because I'm like, at this point, it's like, last night she was like going down a hallway with a candle and she heard noises and... it's just, anyway, and then it finally ends, and every chapter ends on a cliffhanger, but then you don't really find out in the next chapter what really happened, so I don't know. But anyway, and then when I got done with those, I was going to read, the whole time that I was shopping online, I listened to my Christmas book, The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, which was the December book for Peter's Book Club. I'm loving that book. If you're looking for a good, like, Christmas mystery, it's not like a hardcore thriller. It's like, the synopsis of it is that there is this woman, and she's like this unbelievable mystery writer, and they all work for the same publishing company, and so she's kind of like a modern day Agatha Christie. She's like on that level, and she's really like been the bread and butter for this publishing company. And then she invites for Christmas out to like the English countryside this guy, and he writes books. He's probably kind of like a James Patterson, but a lot younger. Writes like spy thrillers, like detective novels. The other woman, Maggie, who's the other main character, she calls them leather jackets, because like on the back you always see the author wearing a leather jacket, which I think is really funny, and because it's true. And so then she is like famous for writing cozy mysteries, and she even actually like has like Christmas cozy mysteries and stuff. So they're invited out there, but they don't really know why. And she doesn't really want to go, and they hate each other. These two, Evan and Maggie, who are the authors, they hate each other. And so they're stuck out there at this English like place in the middle of nowhere, and then a blizzard occurs. And they don't really know why they're out there, but then something happens, and they have to solve the case. And so they're not sure if it's like a test or if it really happened, if that makes sense. So it's good. I really like it. The rapport back and forth between the two of them is funny. Like, it's very romantical comedy meets a mystery. It kind of falls in line with like the Elsbeth, the Matlocks that I like right now. Definitely like Only Murders in the Building. It feels very kind of like that. But there is romance to it. It's cute. It's kind of like they like hate each other a little bit. I pulled this sweatshirt. I know this is totally random, but I pulled this sweatshirt out of the closet. I was like, okay, what sweatshirt can I put on this? I have like 500 sweatshirts, hoodies in there, right? And so I just grabbed this one down, and I actually thought it was the one. So I have the one that says Montauk Tennis from Port. I know people are going to be like, Peter, where did you get that hoodie? It's a great hoodie apology. This is a great hoodie apology. This is just a Champion hoodie, and I think I got it on Amazon, or I might have got it at Meijer, or yeah, I think I did get this actually at Meijer. I got them in like 2 different colors, like black and gray, like years ago. But it's just a plain Champion hoodie. But anyway, I thought because it was gray, which one's the other one that I have? I have the one that says Montauk Tennis, and then Paris Hockey maybe is the other one. I don't remember what the other one is. I think it's navy blue though, not gray. Doesn't my hair look so pretty? Pretty as this pretty does. Y'all, I shaved for you and brushed my teeth. Oh, and I washed my face with the Alpen Beauty face wash, and I put on the Target lotion on my face. I've been, like, I've noticed lately, I would say in the last 6 months, that when I use, the only one that doesn't do it to me is the Tatcha Rice Cream. Other than that, when I use, like, lotions on my face, like, I have to be very careful which lotions I use. Oh, the other one is the Harry's Night Lotion. That and the Tatcha, which is so weird, isn't it? I mean, you talk about 2 different spectrums. It comes in this little green bottle. The Harry's Night Lotion and the Tatcha Rice Cream are the only 2 that don't break out my face. Every other high-end lotion, which Harry's is not high-end, but every other lotion, unless it's just like Aveeno or that Target brand, I've been using on my face, and I haven't been breaking out at all. So, now I'm noticing it's like hurting a little bit when I swallow. Oh, please don't be letting me get sick like that. I'm sure by tonight I'll be completely fine. What was I talking about? I'm like losing my mind. I was talking about the books, wasn't I? Okay. So, I finished those books. Catching up. I was talking about like the book, Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. Yeah, it's Peter's book club for December. It's really good. If you're looking for a Christmas mystery, so on my BookTube channel, I think I listed like 13 or 14, I think it was 13 Christmas thrillers and mysteries, which I know I will not get through all of them. But I think Xmas Break and 25 Days are 2 of those, so I will get done with those. And then the Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, that will be a 3rd one, so then I'll only have 10 left to do. The next one, when I finish this, I'm going to read the Jacqueline Frost book, which is the 5th one. It's the newest one in the Christmas Tree Farm Mysteries. It's the newest one that just came out. I'm going to read the 5th one, and then I'm completely caught up in her series, and I'm going to go, and I think I'm going to read the Lisa Unger one after that. I'm going to try to get as many of these Christmas books done as I can. Somebody said the other day in my vlog, I think it was on my vlog, they said, you get between Christmas and New Year's to continue to read the Christmas books. Okay, so typically, like when Christmas is over, I'm done with Christmas. I didn't used to be like that. When I was a kid, I'm going off on all these tangents, which I usually do, but for some reason I'm not remembering them today. But anyway, it doesn't matter. When I was a kid, like I've shared the story about like I wanted Christmas to last forever, because I think it was like this imaginary escape away from the bullying and stuff like that. But when I was younger, I kind of like wanted Christmas to last forever. I don't necessarily feel that way at all anymore. I mean, when Christmas Day is done, I'm kind of like, I don't want to watch a Christmas movie. I don't want to read a Christmas book. I don't want to hear a Christmas song. I usually, because I like max out Christmas in the month of December. I mean, I'm doing so much. I'm like watching a Christmas show or movie like every single day. I'm reading Christmas books. I'm listening to Christmas music in between. I've got the Christmas tree. Well, I don't have it lit today, but at night I have it lit. Lighting the candles. By the time Christmas is done, I'm going to be ready for Christmas to be done. So, I don't know that I will continue to read the Christmas mysteries between Christmas and New Year's. Only if I have like 6 of them left, because I bought them. So, unless I want to save them till next year, like I did with the Christmas Murder on the Christmas Express, because I bought that last year. Oh, I need to read that one this year. That's definitely, that one, that Alexandria, whatever her name is, she's got like 6 Christmas books or something, and I think I bought them all. So anyway, when I got done with the Advent Calendar books, my throat is hurting me. When I got done with the Advent Calendar books, I went back and I had 3 chapters left of the Christmas Kidnapping Caper, and so I finished it. It's cute. I mean, it's a kid's book, but it's about the spirit of Christmas and these mice that solve the crime of Santa Claus being kidnapped and all this kind of stuff. So I finished that last night. I don't think I put it in my Goodreads or anything, but I finished that. It's on my list of books that I'm reading, but I don't think that I finished it. So I finished that last night. It was cute. And then I watched, last night, what did I watch? Oh, I got completely caught up on 1,000 Pound Best Friends. So I thought it was the 8th episode this week, but it was the 7th episode. So I'd already started it. So I finished watching the 7th episode, got completely caught up on that. And then a couple things that people said in the comment section the other day when I asked for, like, what you guys like me to talk about. And I think there was, like, 2 or 3 people. I like, really paid attention to that with what you guys said, by the way. And a couple people were like, I don't love when you, like, talk about TV shows. Like, I kind of, like, fast forward through that part. So I won't, like, I have a TV channel. I can talk about that stuff over there. I'll just tell you guys what the shows are I'm watching, but I probably won't get into, like, the deepness of it. I say that, and then tomorrow I'll get into the deepness of it. But I'm going to try to, because I know that people are like, you have a channel for that, and you're right. So anyway, I watched 1,000 Pound Best Friends, which I'm going to do a reaction to on my Peter Watches TV channel, probably tomorrow. And then I watched, and then I was like, were Matlock and Elizabeth even on this week? So I went over and I looked, and they were both on this week. So I watched Matlock first, and then I watched Elizabeth. Matlock makes me very, very nervous, okay? So if you don't know what it's about, Matlock is about this woman, and she's 70, I think she's 75 actually, and played by Kathy Bates, and she is, like, she was an attorney and she's retired, and she's working for this law firm. But the reason that she's really working for this law firm is because they were the attorneys for this big pharma, okay? Very much like Purdue Pharma. And her daughter died from drug-related issues, and so she blames the attorneys that got this pharmaceutical company off. So she's trying to go in and find out who's responsible for it. That's the backstory. But she's always doing, like, so every episode there's, like, a case that she's on that she's, like, helping, you know, like, solve or prove. And then, but the backstory is, like, her and her husband and her grandson are, like, working behind the scenes to try to find out what happened with this pharmaceutical company. And it's, like, one of those shows where you constantly feel like she's going to get caught. Like, I think, like, any second she's going to get caught. So it makes me nervous. And then Elizabeth, I like it, but it makes me nervous. And then Elizabeth, and that's all told in the first episode. So, I mean, now we've got like 10 episodes out. So if I ruined it for you, it's been on for like 3 months now. But anyway, I kind of wish somebody would have told me that before. I would have started it a lot sooner before, because that would have got me more interested in it than just thinking it was a remix of the old Matlock, which it totally is not a remix of the old Matlock at all. It's completely different. So then I watched Elizabeth, which, the coffee is almost kind of like hurting my throat. I think maybe I should not be drinking the coffee. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it over here so I don't even reach for it. Just leave it right there. I just need some water or something is what I think I need. So anyway, Elizabeth, her son was finally on the show. Like, this episode, he was in a lot of it. They would just refer to him as Teddy, but, like, they never, like, anyway. I said I wasn't going to talk about the shows, and here I am talking about the shows. Well, I don't want to do full coverage of Matlock and Elizabeth over on my TV channel. But I love both those shows. So then when I got done with that, I had, like, I thought it was, like, 10 or 15 minutes, but I had, like, 20, 25 minutes left of Krampus. So I finished Krampus. I was going to do that either today or tomorrow. I was going to do my reaction to the original Krampus on my Peter Watches TV channel. I was also going to do the 1,000 Pound Best Friends. So, well, that'll be Saturday and Sunday, I guess. So anyway, so I finished Krampus, and then by that point it was late because I had read for so long. Oh, I read the Maximum Ride book last night too. So it was like, at that point, it was like really late. And so, but I was like, I wanted to, so I blew out my candles. So I usually blow out my candles and then I like wait up like a half an hour because I want to make sure that they're like out because I'm kind of like fanatical about that. So, I blew out the candles and then I started on YouTube The House Without a Christmas Tree with Jason Robards, which is based on the book that I finished the night before. It's cute. It's a made-for-television movie. And it's a made-for-television movie from like 1972. So it feels very, very dated. But it's cute. It follows the book, kind of. A lot of the scenes that they have, it's interesting having just read the book and then watching the movie because like a lot of the things that are in the book, like the beginning of the book is verbatim. Like they read word for word, like the beginning of the book. I don't know why I just got like this wave over me where I didn't feel good. And my throat is, maybe I do just need to get some water. Well, let me finish this part really quick and then I'll go get some water. So the book, like at the beginning of it, follows it word for word, and then like it goes in, and she and her friend Carla May, like the exchange between her and her dad is different. She and her friend Carla May go to school, And then anyway, so it's good. It's good. It's just, it's sweet. I mean, it's a family movie. It's definitely like the movie is more of a family movie than the book is more of a kid's book. But I was thinking, like, finishing it and watching the movie last night, like, I think I would have more appreciation reading it as an adult, because it's from an adult's perspective looking back on her childhood than I would have as a kid reading it. Okay, this is going to stop in a second, so I'm going to go in and get some water. I'll be back in 2 and 2, okay? Okay, I'm back. Went and got some water. I was going to get a throat lozenge, but I don't want to do that to you guys. Do you remember I used to choose stuff? Like, I would have a throat lozenge in my video, and it would drive some people crazy. They'd be like, oh my God, it's driving me crazy. So I don't want to do that to you guys, because it'll drive you crazy. And then tonight, Alex had these appointments, and then he'll be home, and then he has nothing tonight. So we will probably catch up on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We'll probably watch an Andy Cohen Watch What Happens Live after that. And then we'll watch House of Villains. Is it the finale? I don't think it's the finale. I think next week might be the finale of House of Villains. I can't believe next week is the finale of Survivor. I'm really not feeling great. There was like a couple minutes, like when I came down here, that I was like, I feel so good, blah, 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 whatever. I hope I'm not like getting sick. I feel like this season has been kind of the season of, like, I've gotten sick a lot more than usual. I don't know. I am a believer that when you're not taking care of yourself, you know, emotionally, that physically your body will follow. So maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, tonight we're just going to watch some TV shows and maybe like watch a movie or something like that. That's the plan, Stan, for tonight. I'm also kind of burning up in this, and I actually turned the heat down. It was on 71, and I turned it down to 69. And I don't, like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm kind of like burning up in this hoodie a little bit. So that's the plan for this weekend. And then tomorrow, hopefully if I feel better, since I didn't film any videos today, I will film some videos tomorrow and Sunday. Why do I feel like we have something on Sunday? I don't think that we do. Alex and I talked about maybe next week going to, so in Carmel, there is this like Christmas festival thing that goes for like the whole month of December. He went like for a half an hour with some friends like 2 years ago. But they have like an ice skating area. They sell like chestnuts. They have like musicians playing. They have like a choir singing. They have like crafts and stuff. It's supposed to be kind of like an imitation like German Christmas mart. And it's supposed to be really cute. I've never been, and I've always wanted to go. We talked about the possibility of maybe going. I don't feel great tonight, so I don't want to go tonight. But we talked about possibly going sometime next week or next weekend, like right before Christmas. So we might do that next weekend. That would be fun to do. Tuesday is my sobriety birthday. I was thinking about this last night because I was like kind of trying to plan out my videos for the next week. And I was like, well, Tuesday, since it's my sobriety birthday, I probably will just do like a dedicated, I'm probably going to put up something on, so if you want to answer any of the questions, I'm going to probably put it on my Instagram, like any questions about my sobriety or my addiction. I'll probably just do like a full video about that on Tuesday. I know it won't get a bunch of views, but I think it's important for me to do a video about that. So I'm probably going to do that video on Tuesday. And then I was like, I don't think I'll film any other videos. But if I feel good and I wake up and I'm like, I'm not going to just sit here and be like, you're sober. Because I was like, well, maybe I'll just listen to some leads that day. I don't know. I might feel that way. I might wake up on Tuesday and be like, I'm just going to film my vlog. Well, because my sponsor's going to pick me up that night. And so, which actually I have more time with her picking me up than if Alex took me to Tanya's. So she's going to pick me up that night. So I'll have to start getting ready about 6:15, 6:30. And then she's going to pick me up. We're going to get coffee. Then we're going to go to the meeting. I'm going to get my coin. And then, so the way that it happens in 12-step meetings, well, the way that it's happened for me in the 30 years that I've been going to 12-step meetings is that typically you go to a meeting with your sponsor, okay? It can be any meeting. It doesn't have to be your home group. I like to go to my home group and get my coin. And then you go, and then they'll say, like, you know, they count down. In different states and different areas, they do it different ways. But usually they do 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months, a year, 18 months, multiples of years. And so, like, multiples of years, at my home group, like, if somebody has, like, I'll have 30. If somebody that I know is having 10, like, I would let them go first. And so we kind of, like, because we kind of know sometimes who has the same sobriety birthday, which is also my sister-in-law Jesse's birthday. So, Why did I scream like that? So happy birthday to Jessie on Tuesday, which I think is kind of cool. So she'll be, well, I don't think she'll care if I say, she'll be 31. Just like Fufu, which means she was 1 year old when I got sober, which is surreal. So anyway, I think it's kind of cool that my sobriety birthday, my mom would have loved Jessie so much. My mom and Jessie are a lot of like in their perspectives and how they look at the world and things like that. She's just so cool. I love her and Fufu so much. I just, and Carlos and Lillian, I just feel so blessed to have the family that I have, I was talking to my stepmom last night, and then we were talking, anyway, about Christmas stuff, and then, Caroline and I are texting, and, I'm like, shopping for stuff, and I'm like, I talk to people on the phone, a lot of people like in recovery, and they'll be like, oh God, like I have to go like to, 3 houses for Christmas. And I know that's a lot because we, do like Alex's family on Christmas Eve, and we do Caroline and Mike's for Christmas Day. With my ex, we would, on Christmas Eve, we would do my aunt's house. On Christmas Day, we would come over here and we would do my mom's house until like noon, and then we would drive to Seymour where he was from. And that was like an 1.5-hour drive, so we wouldn't even, it was a lot. Melissa and Jason, like, it's crazy what they do. I don't think they're doing it this year, actually, but they, like, go to, like, 4 states in 3 days or something like that. I was telling somebody that the other day. I don't know how they do it. It's a lot. And I know a lot of people, like, travel for the holidays and stuff like that. I look forward to it. I don't know, it's something that, like, the older that I've gotten, and now that a lot of people are gone, it's kind of sad that it took me getting older and losing very important people in my life to really appreciate being around people for the holidays. I can remember when I was younger and I'd just be like, oh God, I'd be like excited to see, like, it wasn't like I wasn't excited to see people, but it was just like got a whole day with family. Now I look forward to that, so it's fun, I like it. But anyway, so, okay, at a meeting, and then, so I'll, like, stand up and I'll say that I have 30 years. And then my sponsor and I will walk to the front of the room in front of everybody. And then she'll say some things about me. And then she'll, give me my coin and we'll hug, and that'll be it. Sometimes at meetings they pass the coin around, and then everybody can, like, touch it and put some, good energy on it, or, whatever. Like, people will rub it and stuff like that. Sometimes they don't. I don't usually pass my coin around, but a lot of people do. I think that I did in earlier sobriety. I used to pass my coin around. So, you don't have, like, a lot of people do go on their, since I always get it at my home group, so, like, this year it's weird, like, Tuesday, which is the night of my home group, falls on the 17th, which is my birthday, but let's say if Wednesday was my 30-year birthday, I wouldn't, like, we don't borrow time in recovery, and this is the kind of stuff I don't ever talk about on here, but, like, we don't borrow time in recovery. So if I went to, like, let's say if I went to my home group on Tuesday and I said tomorrow I'll have 30 years, people would, like, clap, and then they would say come back tomorrow. So you go, like, the day of or after. So you could come a month later and say I haven't been here in a month, but I had, my 30 years on the 17th, and then you could get, a coin or a keychain or whatever, and a lot of people do that. Like, usually obviously my birthday doesn't usually land on my home group date, so I'm usually going, like, days after or weeks after, like, so, if that makes sense. Like, if the 17th was, like, on a Sunday, then I would still go on a Tuesday and get it, but it would be, like, 4 days after. Back in the day, I used to, like, in early sobriety, I used to, like, it didn't matter, like, where I went to get it. I used to, like, I would say, like, my first 2 or 3 years. Well, maybe my 4 or 5 years. I always, like, went on my birthday, on my day, to a meeting and got it on that day. Now, it's important for me to have my sponsor that I work with give it to me and go to my home group that I'm a part of. Like, that's important to me. So, it doesn't really matter to me that I get it on that day. But this year, it's really cool because it lands, my home group lands on my sobriety birthday. And then there's a lot of people that they'll, like, this seems to be kind of like a more of like an early sobriety thing. Like, I would say, like, 10 years and under, which I kind of, I know 10 years. When I had 10 years, if somebody had said you're early in sobriety, I would have been like, the F I am, But, like, looking back, 5 to 10 years still seems pretty early. You're still kind of repairing your life and stuff like that. If somebody had said that to me at 2 years, I probably would have said I'm not in early recovery, because it didn't feel like that at 2 years. But, looking back on it, 2 years, 3 years definitely feels like early recovery to me now, looking back on everything that's happened in the 30 years, But a lot of people will go some to 2 meetings a day, but for like a week. And they'll say, I can get, you know, coins and keychains for a week or whatever. And so they'll go for a week to like a meeting every day, and they'll announce it in a meeting, and nobody cares. I mean, you can do that. I've shared this before. So it was one birthday. I can't remember what birthday it was when I was working in treatment, and the counselor that I had in treatment, she was working at that point on the women's department, the women's unit. And so when I came in, a lot of people were saying to me, I used to be very like, I would just go to a meeting and get, announce my birthday, and then that was it. I didn't like say to a lot of people. My mom every year always would bring me something. She'd bring me like a card and a meditation book or plant or something like that for my birthday. It's weird because like through the years, like Alex and like my ex would do things for my sobriety birthday. Like I remember one year, Alex got me a bracelet one year. My ex got me a watch one year. It must have been on like a big year, like 25 or 20 with Alex. I think it was 20 that he got me a bracelet. But anyway, I don't know how to explain this. If you're in sobriety, it might make sense to you. As much as I appreciate that, it doesn't like really, like it meant so much to me, like my mom, like going out of her way to get me like a positive affirmation meditation book, like the Melody Beatty ones or whatever, or give me a plant because she got it because she was in sobriety. A couple years ago, I did like a big birthday dinner. It was like my sponsor, Tanya, 3 of our friends, and then Alex and Sarah came. And that was great. Like that was fun having them there, right? But it's, I mean, when it's specifically something for sobriety, it feels kind of like a little bit of a weird mix. Although, you know, like Alex knows all those people and stuff like that. So I don't ever expect, like Alex asked me, he's like, do you want to go out to, because I said, I'll probably go out to dinner with my sponsor like afterwards because Tanya's busy that night. And he goes, well, do you want me to meet up with you? And I said, no. I said, I'm just going to go out with her. We'll just have dinner and catch up and, you know, whatever. Drink a lot of coffee because she and I both drink a lot of coffee late into the night. So sometimes I'll like call her, it'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll be like, what are you doing? And she's like, I just made a pot of coffee and I'm working. She always is working on some projects around the house. And so Alex is like, are you sure you don't care if I don't go? I said, no, not at all. In fact, this year it seems very like, I want it to kind of be like very solitude and just like me and my sponsor. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It feels like it kind of worked out the way that it was supposed to. Like, I'm reflecting back a lot on the last 30 years. In fact, this weekend, I think, and leading up to Tuesday, I want to do, like last night in my phone, I made a list of like goals for the next year and also goals for like the next 30 years of my life, like what I would like the rest, that sounds so weird to think about that. I don't know why that got me emotional saying that, but I think it's kind of weird sometimes. If you're older, you'll understand what I mean. I mean, we're all on borrowed time. We don't know how much time we have, obviously, but it's weird when you get to that stage in your life when you realize you're no longer going up, you're coming down, you know what I mean? Like you're over the hill, literally, you know? I mean, it feels kind of weird sometimes when you realize, I mean, I'm not old at 52 by any means, but I have, even if I live a good, ripe life, I have, you know, less years here than I've had. So it feels bizarre, you know, sometimes. And I cry because, like, it's weird, like, when people ask me about, like, getting older and stuff. I don't really have a problem with getting older and the wrinkles and the lines. Like, Alex the other day was like, oh, I need to get a little bit more Botox and whatever. And I'm like, do you go get it all? Is it going out of focus? I'm like, he's into all the aesthetics and stuff. Why does it feel like it's going out of focus? I feel like it is. It is. Okay, hold on. Is that working? I don't want to have to turn it off. Okay, there it goes. I don't like have a problem with like the wrinkles and the white hair and all that kind of stuff. Being slower. There's an appreciation that I have. There's like, okay, the only way I can explain it is if you're older, you'll understand. But like, I think it hit me about late 40s. 47, 48, which isn't old by any means in our society. But you start feeling like you're getting older. Like you can physically feel it. And mornings are a little slower for you. And you kind of start looking at things in a different way. You've lost a lot of like family friends that, you know, when you were growing up, they were 40 and now they're 80 in their 80s. And so you've lost a lot of family friends and, you know, a lot of people that, you know, like, I think it was by the time that my like aunt and uncle were gone, it was like people that Caroline and I hung out with as kids growing up. Like, is the battery at the halfway mark already? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. people that, I mean, family friends of ours that we spent like holidays with, you know, summers with, did everything, like they're gone too. And so you start looking at the world in a different way because you realize now you're those people for somebody else, right? Like you're the family friend for somebody else, you know? Or that the way that I looked at my Aunt Kathy and Uncle Dave is the way that Carlitos and Sebastian will look at Alex and I someday, you know? And so it feels weird. I don't have a hard time getting older. I feel like I'm getting like phlegmy. And I have a hard time getting older and the white hair and all that kind of stuff. In fact, probably the best thing that I did was just kind of let it go and stop fighting it. I just started to enjoy life a lot more, you know, when I just was like, you know what, it is what it is. But what I have a hard time, and by where I get emotional, is when I realize that time is running out for the things that I want to do. And I think that's what gets me real emotional, you know, is that I feel like, why, okay, that clock is right over there, but it's, it's up by an hour because I never changed it back when daylight savings time, probably from a year, because it's an hour ahead. Should we be an hour? Okay, so I gotta move that. I gotta change the clock. It's this clock that I bought years and years and years ago at this little art store in Broderpool, and I was like, does it even work anymore? About 6 months ago, I put a battery in it. It's real cute. It's like wood on the outside, and I should show it to you guys sometime. But anyway, it's like this big, and it's like blue. If I turn the tripod around, it'll fall, so I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, it's weird as you get older because it's kind of like, you do, like, I don't really have a bucket list. I mean, there's things in my life that I would like to do, but I also feel like I've lived such a great life that at this point, my bucket list looks a lot different. My bucket list looks like, I don't know, not necessarily where I go on vacation, but longer vacations. Like 10 days of just sleeping in and sitting by the beach, getting room service, those kinds of things. Late nights, more late nights. It's more of the things that I love. More late nights with friends. More game nights with family, you know, like we do in the holidays and stuff. You know, I will say a dog or dogs is on that bucket list, but not yet. Like like I said, I'm not anywhere near that yet. But as far as like when people say like, I want to see, you know, this or I want to see that, I don't have that kind of bucket list. And I don't even know when that occurred to me. I started saying that a couple years ago in vlogs, that I don't really have a bucket list. I don't. Like, my husband definitely has, like, these are the places he wants to go. He wants to go to Fiji, he wants to go to Thailand, whatever. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. You know, we'll do it. He has a lot of places he wants to go. He has a lot of, I mean, I don't know that he necessarily has a lot of things he wants to do. I think back in the day it was like, I want to do this music festival, I want to do that music festival. I think he's figured out that my husband's figured out that he's a little bougier than he, well, obviously I think he knows that, but like the electric forest, you know, where you go camping and stuff, like he used to joke that like I would never do that. He would never do that. Now, I mean, he would maybe, you know, but he's not that person either. You know, he likes a little of the VIP stuff too. So the music festivals, he likes to go to, you know, Crest and San Diego but that's, I think, more because he associates that with like Jesse and Fufu and their friends out there and stuff like that. But I don't like, I mean, he used to go to a lot of them in Chicago, but like all of his friends he used to go with, they kind of like, they don't go to those anymore. I don't know. I don't think, like, he still wants to do Tomorrowland in Belgium, and I would like to do that. So that'll be one that we will probably do in the next couple years. But as far as like, bucket list stuff, his is mostly traveling things. Not just like he doesn't have on his like write a book or get a PhD or, you know, that kind of stuff. Like he doesn't really, for a long time he was thinking about getting his MBA. I think at this point, at 40, I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, and he's like, every let's say 3 or 4 months, he'll be like, I'm thinking again about going back to getting my MBA. And I'm like, do it, babe. If you want to do it, you know, do it. And he's like, I don't know, blah, 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 what I would do, you know. I'm like, if you want to do it, you know. But then he kind of like rules it out. I'm definitely not there. Every once in a while, I think it'd be fun to take an art class or something like that. Or I think it'd be more fun to go on like a weekend retreat, like a wellness retreat or a writing retreat or a recovery retreat. They have like a lot of recovery retreats. that you do like step work at and stuff like that. Actually, Hazelden, the treatment program, I think I should look it up and see if they still have them, because Tanya and I were going to do them. They're called Renewal weekends. Hazelden is the treatment center in Minnesota. Hazelden Renewal weekends. If they still have them, I will die. Oh, it's Renewal Center. What's that? Luxury rehab for executives. That's where I need to go. Residential. It doesn't say anything on here. Does anybody know if they still have those? I want to see what it says on here. For luxury rehab for executives. Let's look and see. For CEOs. Let's see what they have listed on here. This will be interesting. Your best, you have to like fill out a form. It says we accept, and it has all these healthcare plans. I can tell you right now, if you are going to a luxury detox place for 30 to 90 days, your insurance does not cover it. I don't care what kind of CEO you are. I'm telling you right now, your insurance does not cover it, okay? We do not have affordable addiction treatment in our country. They might cover a day and send you to an outpatient program, but that's about it. Will an addiction detox center accept insurance? Let's see what they say. Yes, many of our programs accept PPO insurance, which can cover up to 100% of the cost of treatment. We provide a clear and straightforward pricing structure from the start. Well, they would maybe cover like a day and outpatient. That's bullshit. That I can't even believe they have that on here to get people's hopes up. That they would say that they would cover like 30 to 60 days. Some people have residential treatment options on their insurance, but very few people have that. What is your approach to treatment? Let's see what it says on here. We believe in treating the whole person, not just the addiction. Our programs include detox, nutrition, physical activity, spiritual growth, and much more. You can choose between 12-step or non-12-step approach, like most treatment programs. What is this place? Testimonials, programs. Let's see what the programs are. It doesn't say where the programs are. But man, these places look nice. I mean, these look like resorts. Does not look like the treatment that I went to. Oh my Lord, they have pools with golfing putts in the middle of it. Oh my God, you can lay out by the pool and lounge all day long. Oh, they have bedrooms to themselves with desks and computers. Eggs Benedict for breakfast. Oh my Lord. There they are looking out over them. Oh, they have a fireplace outside with couches and things. This is nice treatment center. This, if I go back, this is where I'm going right here. I hope I don't go back, but if I go back, oh, what's that? Ricotta cheese scramble with bread and cucumber. This looks good. Oh, they're doing yoga by the... Oh, it's not a pool. It's a moat. It's a river around there. Look at this room. Overlooks the mountains. It's a big wood bed. That looks cozy. That is not the treatment center that I went to. That is not the treatment center that I went to. But you know what? That's okay. But I will say this. We have a place in Indianapolis. It's a men's facility, and it's supposed to be kind of like luxury. I've known quite a few guys that have gone through there. I think it's 12 beds that have gone through that have been really successful. I don't know that I think that... You know, when I think it comes to treatment facilities, I think that, like, this is just my personal opinion. I mean, I've had people that have gone to, like Salvation Armies, and they usually have, like, waiting lists out the ass, like, 6 months. Halfway houses. I mean, I've had people that have gone to, like, church programs, homeless church programs. I've had people that have gone to luxury, and the luxury ones in this, I mean, Hazelden is like the hub of recovery. I've had people go to the Karen Foundation, Hazelden, Betty Ford, Meadows. What are all the big ones? All the big ones I've known people that have gone to. And what's interesting is the majority of the people that have gone to like the big expensive ones, like they've started there. Because, like, they or their families will spend all the money to go there. But by the end that they've gone to, like, 5 or 6 treatments, if they have, they're now doing, like, the Salvation Army route. And what they'll say is, it's really not that much different. Except for how the place looks. And that you have a pool and the food is better. But what you're getting is really not a whole lot different. I've heard that from so many people. What I think was different was the place that I went to. I mean, it's much nicer now, but when I went there, it was literally 2 hospital beds, a little wooden desk for each of you, and that was it. And the rooms were ice cold. But it was a room. It was nice. There was a lounge that had, a refrigerator. I mean, when I think back on the stuff that was important to me at that time, that we had like little cheeses, little chocolate milks in the refrigerator, and I love that stuff. That the cafeteria, put out lunch meat and chocolate chip cookies and chips every night. Like, that was the stuff that I loved. I think that it was important for me to be in a facility where I was with a lot of people from a lot of like mixed backgrounds and financial backgrounds, whatever. And what I realized was that although we all come from different backgrounds, different families, different things like that, I was literally the only gay guy in there when I was in there. The only gay person that was a patient in there at that time. That I really was no different than anybody else, That I think that people's 12-step spiritual journey, I think that, it's interesting because, I don't know, like, I do think to some degree, like, my individual journey is different from everybody else's, and my experience is different from everybody else. But I think there's a lot that, like, we say something like, you're not unique. Like, we're bound by our addiction. Our addictions all look pretty similar. And so the ways that we deal with them, whether you work a 12-step program or whatever, or whether you go to church or you use a MAP program or whatever, like, those kinds of ways are kind of similar. I think that what I got in treatment of not being treated special, being treated like I wasn't unique, having people like, I think it had a lot to do with the counselor that I had, and that she didn't really give a shit who we were, that she was going to treat us the way, she was going to treat everybody the same way, and I think that that was phenomenal, and that was how I needed to be treated. I think the things that saved my ass were like me asking to have a hairstylist come in and cut my hair on New Year's Eve, and she said, no, princess, and since you think you're so special and unique, you can stay back. I think when she said to me, days before I got out, like, I think you're ready to go. And I said, I'm terrified to leave. And she said, but you have everything that you need to stay sober. And she goes, and that's the perfect place. The battery's dying. Hold on a second. I'll go get another battery. Okay, I'm back. But like towards the end when, she said, I think you're ready to go. And I said, but I'm afraid to go. I'm scared to go. Like, because I felt safe in treatment. She said, but you have everything that you need to have. She goes, you're exactly where you need to be. To have a certain amount of fear, but also a certain amount of you have all the tools, like you're ready to go. That's like a good sign that you're ready to go. When I look at why, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, like why they think that they were successful, or why I was, why other people were or were not compared to other people. I know this is going to probably sound strange, or maybe it won't if you're in recovery, but I think that what made me successful had very little to do with the treatment facility that I went to, in all honesty. I think it had, I think she had a big part of it. I think that the counselor that I had, I think her caring enough to tell us what we needed to hear, but also being like, you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. And that's not going to be on me. Like, I'm going to tell you everything you need to do to stay sober. If you do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. Years later, she told me, she was like, you are not the one that I thought. She's like, it's always the one that you don't think is going to stay sober that stays sober. She goes, you are not the one that I thought was going to stay sober. And that was interesting to me. I'm like adjusting the volume on my phone. Somebody said the other day, it was such a funny comment. They said, on such and such date, you said that you silence your phone before you go to bed, but I just heard your phone go off, blah, 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 whatever. And then they said, not trying to be like a hater or a troll. It was like a funny comment. My phone is silenced. My phone is always silenced. It's so funny because, like, my phone will be laying around, and I'll be, like, reading or whatever, and, like, I'll look at it later, and Tanya it was, like, 2 hours later, and Tanya will be like, did you not hear I'm like, no, girl, you know I have my phone silenced. If you hear my phone go off, it's because my volume on my computer is on. My phone is always, always, always silenced. Except for, like, if I have it turned on for a specific reason, like I want to hear something or whatever. But I always, even when my alarms are the only thing that goes off. What you heard on that ding was because I had my messages come through my computer, and so I had the volume on, which is why now I'm turning the volume off. But anyway, I think the thing that made me successful the last time, this was my 5th treatment that I went through, and so I think about that, and I think about what was the difference, because I mean, you know, when I think about it, it's like, I'm like really thinking back on each treatment. I don't remember everyone specifically. I do remember one that I went through that was like an intensive outpatient program. So IOP usually stands for intensive outpatient program. There was one that I went through that was the one that I went to before I went to this inpatient treatment. And it was really, really intense, like super intense. And I think that, well, I know that the reason why I was successful the last time that I wasn't successful the times before was because my dad and other people in my life got smart. My dad was no longer willing to enable me at all. My dad went to the doctor, my addictionologist, who is also one of my dad's friends because he had worked with him for, you know, at that point, 30 years or something, 20 years. And he said, you know, my dad said to him, everything I touch in life turns to gold except for my kid. I don't know what to do. And he said to him, you need to listen to exactly what I tell you to do and do it. And my dad was willing to do that. Out of fear of me dying, he was like, I will do what I have to do. And I will do what I'm told to do. But then if Peter ends up dead, then at least that way I can say, I did everything I was told to do. I exhausted all my resources. I did everything that I was, you know, could do to save his life. I think that would be the one thing that I would say, you know, to friends and family members. The conversations about like, you know, but I love you so much, and if you loved me, you would stop. Like, those conversations are pointless to have with an alcoholic or an addict, okay? I've said this a million times. If love were enough, there would not be any need for therapy, hospitalizations, treatment programs, 12-step programs, church for addiction issues, MAT programs. If love were enough, people would just stop like that. That's where I believe, and you don't have to, that it's a disease, and the disease is more powerful than the person. So I think when my dad got to the point where he was like, I'm done. And then my dad called my friends and was like, if you care about my kid, if you care about Peter, don't call him, don't do anything, don't help him, whatever. And then that happened. And then my dad called my mom and said, he's going to call you and try to, you know, get you, he'll try to manipulate you to come and pick him up and take him out of treatment. And he'll tell you how horrible it is. Don't pick him up. Well, she was in the middle of her own addiction, so she didn't want to get in the middle of that. And she was moving from the house that I grew up in here. So she didn't want to get mixed all up in that. So she stayed out of it. I mean, I can remember calling her and like she would just now going to answer the phone. So, or she would like pick it up or hang it up or something like that. One time I think she did that. And so I really didn't have, I mean, I had nobody. I had to go to my dad. It forced me to, like, if I needed anything, I had to go to my dad. I had two friends at that time. The one friend was that interacted with me. My one friend was my friend from like kindergarten, elementary, junior high, high school, and college. I had used a lot with her, but at that point, she was probably my most worried friend. And she was the one that picked me up from treatment because my dad wouldn't, nobody else. They were done. They were like, you figure it out. So she picked me up from treatment, but like she kept me busy. I mean, she really helped a lot as a person that she's not an addict. She's not an alcoholic. We partied a lot together, but she just stopped. She actually got very, very involved in church. She met her husband that she's married to now in church and stuff like that. I don't think they're as active in church as they used to be, but that's like she got out of it via like church. But I don't know that I think that she was an addict or an alcoholic, but you know, she found her place and what worked for her. And so she was really, really helpful to me when I got out of treatment. She would bring me things. I think she brought me things one time in treatment. But I can even remember that, like, she knew my dad really well. I mean, she had spent a lot of time with my dad. Obviously, we had been friends since, you know, forever. So, like, in high school and college, when I was, like, you know, out there a lot and at the pool and whatever, my dad, like, she knew him. And so when he called her, I think, like, I found out later they had some conversation where she was like, I'm equally as worried about Peter. So you tell me what you need me to do. So she was the one friend that I had. Well, I had two friends that came to visit me in treatment. They weren't really willing to help, the two guy friends. They weren't really willing to do anything either. I mean, they were really worried about me. And then my friend that got sober on New Year's Day, she brought me, like, shampoo and conditioner. She brought me the Michael Crichton book. She brought me cigarettes. She brought me all this kind of stuff. But then she got sober on New Year's Day. And so, and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here right now because she is who I went to, like, so many meetings with. And then I think in about 9 months, she moved away to go to graduate school. But I mean, Like, we did everything together, like, at the beginning. I mean, I went to a lot of meetings by myself, but she and I went to a lot of meetings together. I think the one thing that was different from that treatment versus other treatments is that I think my dad was done effing around. I think he was like, because he said to me, I remember there was like this contract thing that we went through with the doctor, and I had had contracts before, like behavioral contracts, where it's like, these are the rules, blah, blah, blah. Behavioral contracts are usually like, if you do this, then this. If you do not do this, then this. If you do not do this. But these were like, I remember it was like, I wish I had it. I don't think I still have it. If I do, it's probably like in a notebook downstairs, early sobriety or something like that. But it was like, you will go to aftercare like every week. You will go to, I had therapy like I think it was 2 times a week. You go to therapy like 2 times a week. You will go to meetings like every single day. You have a sponsor. My dad was like, it had on there like he could talk to my sponsor, you know, like, my dad was like, I'll buy you groceries, but you won't have more than such and such amount of cash. That was like a huge deal, like me not having a lot of cash. My dad like actually like, and this was against everything he believed, he like bought me cigarettes when I first got sober, and he would give me like, he gave me something like, it was like literally 8 $1 bills. And it was like for the donation thing at first. And then later he was like, no, you don't have to, like, I'm not giving you cash at all to, like, donate or something like that. I mean, he was pretty hardcore. And the addictionologist was the one that told him everything to put on there. And so at the end, I was like, okay, where do I sign it? And my dad goes, you don't sign it. The one thing that they wanted me to do that I wasn't willing to do was going to a halfway house. There was only one at the time, maybe 2 in Indianapolis, and one was at a hospital. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was at St. Vincent's Hospital. And that was the one they wanted me to go to. And treatment was really good for me, but I had some really horrific experiences. I mean, you have to remember this was 1994. I had some really horrific experiences being the only gay guy in a treatment program. I mean, a lot of the guys were super nice to me, but I had a roommate that like, he ended up getting kicked out, but like, I had a couple like kind of sketch experiences too. And so I was like, I don't want to go into another environment that I'm not comfortable in, that I don't feel comfortable in. And I was like, so like, sure I was going to do this thing when I got out. I was like, I will take it day by day. There was a part of me that was like, I'm going to do this for so long and then I'm going to start smoking pot again. That was like a lot in my head. It's one of the reasons why today, like, pot is such a big deal for me. Because A, I never really suffered any consequences. B, it didn't cost me a lot of money. And C, it was always my go-to. Like, I always kept on thinking in my head, and you have to remember, this is not at a time when marijuana was, like, legalized in our country or anything. They were having conversations about it, cannabis shops, Delta 8s, any of that kind of stuff. I have to be very careful around that stuff because in the back of my head, what I would say is, well, maybe I can't drink, but down the road I can smoke pot because I didn't suffer any consequences from pot. But I know for me, the kind of addict and alcoholic that I am, that if I start smoking pot, I'll be drinking and using pills and all kinds of stuff again. That's just what I know of me. Maybe for somebody else it works, but for me, I mean, I smoked pot all day, every day. I don't even know really how to explain it. I mean, it was literally like all day, every day I smoked pot. I'm gonna check with Alex and see. I think he was trying to like schedule an IV thing. He may have done that. I'm gonna text him, like, what time are you coming home? Because I'm gonna... He was texting me last night at dinner about, we were just talking about planning a double date to Delicia. Oh, he said, he's on his way home now, babe. So I'm gonna finish this here in a second. But to finish this part up, I think the one thing that, I don't know that it would have mattered if I went to the ritziest treatment program in the world or the most hardcore treatment program in the world or whatever. I think what made the difference was that the people in my life led by my father were no longer willing to enable me. So if I was going to go back out there and use, I was on my own. And I think that one of the things that my dad did that was really, really smart was that he called the people that were closest to me. I don't know. I I think the doctor told him to do this. I mean, there weren't a lot. It wasn't like he called 10 people. But he called, like, my 3 closest friends. 2 of them that came to visit me in treatment. Because I'll never forget, they came to me on Christmas Day. Nobody else came to visit me. I didn't want anybody to, but nobody did anyway. And they said to me, they were like, and I had partied and drank with them and done cocaine and smoked cigarettes, obviously. You know, smoked pot and pills and everything with them. And they're like, you need to get serious about this, Peter. I remember they told me about a friend of ours that I had partied with really, really hard. He now has, like, married and has 2 kids and lives in New York City and stuff like that. He and his husband, like, travel all around the world, his most interesting life. But I remember, like, he had moved to New York, and they were telling me about him, and I can remember thinking, the party stopped a long time ago, and you didn't even realize it. Even these 2 friends were, like, almost, like, done with college and getting ready to go into, like, graduate programs and move, and I was like, the party stopped, and you didn't even realize it. And so, like, my dad had called them. My dad had called my old roommate at the time. My dad had called this friend of mine, this childhood friend. My dad had even called this girl that ended up getting sober on New Year's Day. And my mom. And I think they kind of got the word out, you know, to other people that I was close with. But, like, nobody was willing to enable me. Because my dad made it very, very clear. Like, if you continue to help Peter by giving him cash, doing anything, like, you're going to kill him. And I think that was what made the difference. Is I think that it was done. Like, my dad was like, I don't care. If you go out and keep on using, he was like, you don't have an apartment. I'm not helping you financially. You do not have a car. Leave your car keys on the kitchen counter and leave. He was like, I don't want to hear from you anymore. I mean, my dad made it very, very clear. He was like, your stepmother and I do not want to hear from you anymore. If you pick up and use, I will tell your mother that she can't, your Aunt Kathy, Uncle Dave, not to invite you over there at all, not to help you with food or anything. You are on your own. And I think when I talk about my bottom, like, I'm a believer that you can pick your bottom. Yes, I believe that my bottom is death if I continue to use, but I think that I picked my bottom. And I think I was so afraid of, like, homelessness and not being able to take care of myself. That was going to be what happened if I continued to use. I mean, my dad was dead serious about it. He was done. And so I think that's what made the difference for me. So when I talk about setting boundaries and setting limits, like, my dad was at that point, number one, because he wanted to save my life, but also because he couldn't continue to go on with the 3 o'clock in the morning phone calls and him being worried about me and things like that. Like, he had to set a boundary, a healthy boundary for himself and for my stepmother. You know, he had to do that. He had to, because he couldn't continue to go on living every day with fear and being so worried about him. So at some point, like, I mean, he was worked on himself after that. I mean, he was going to have to do that. So he set that boundary. I don't know that if my father and people in my life, not just my dad, but I mean, I had a lot of enablers. If people would have continued to enable me, I wouldn't be here right now. And I don't think it would have mattered if I had gone to $1 million a year treatment program or a charity treatment program. I don't think it would have mattered. I think that most treatment programs teach you what you need to hear, you know? Whether it's with 4-poster beds and yoga by the pool, or whether it's in cold-ass rooms with a waiting list of 90 people and everybody's homeless. Some of the most amazing recovery that I have seen has come out of homeless recovery centers. Some of the most amazing recovery that I've ever seen has come out of some of the ritziest treatment programs I've ever seen. I don't think that has anything to do with it. And I think people get so worried about, well, should I send them here? Should I send them there? I've seen people use in some of the nicest halfway houses, and I've seen people use in some of the shittiest halfway houses. I've seen people stay sober in some of the nicest halfway houses, and I've seen some people stay sober in some of the shittiest halfway houses. I think it depends on what your desire. How bad do you want it? What are the people around you willing to do? You know? If they get kicked out of that halfway house because they're using, is somebody going to bring them home? Because if they're not, then they might not use. And I knew that. I knew, my dad made it very clear to me, you use. If you want to use, go use. But you ain't got a place to live anymore. With your mother, with me, nobody. You're done. So I hope that you have a lot of couches to sleep on, because if you use again, I'm done. My dad was so angry, like at the end, and I think that was the thing, was that my dad was not afraid to show me his anger. He was pissed. He was hurt, you know? And so I think that was really, really important. I think my dad was also at the point where, like, if I say how I really feel to Peter, because I think this is a thing that a lot of families and friends are afraid to do with addicts and alcoholics. I think my dad was at the point where he was like, if I say what I really feel to Peter, like how pissed I am, how angry I am, how taken advantage of, how hurt I am, how scared I am, then maybe he'll go use and then he'll die, and those will be the last things I say to him. I don't want to push him over the edge. This is where it's really important to remember, I, as one human being, do not have the power to get somebody sober. And I do not have the power to get somebody drunk. It's why I say so often in my videos, okay? There may be things that contribute that happen in this world to making me want to use, but if I relapse, that is on me 100%. That's on me. That's on the choices that I make. It's on what I do or what I don't do. It's a lot in what I don't do, and I hope that I never do relapse. But, you know, I think that I'm a believer that it takes a village to raise a child, and I was a child at 22 and a half years old. I know children at 45 years old that are getting sober, you know? I'm grateful that at that point my dad was willing to do the things that a lot of people weren't willing to do and that he hadn't been willing to do for 4 treatments before that. And I don't know if he had done that like on treatment 1 if it would have made a difference. I don't know. It might have made no difference, you know? Maybe I wasn't ready yet. I was really, really tired. I mean, we talk about being sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was really tired of being sick and tired at the end. Like, I think that was the other thing. I mean, I had dropped out of school. I really had no life. None of my family wanted anything to do with me. I had very few friends that wanted anything to do with me. And I think that at the end, I was at a point where I just wanted somebody to hand me a solution, you know? I think at that time, when I got sober, like, it's interesting, like, you know, there's a lot of, like, really, like, and there's nothing wrong with this, do what you want to do, but, like, there's a lot of, like, really, like, faith-based treatment programs or faith-based halfway houses, and then there's, you know, like, a lot of new agey stuff. I kind of sometimes, like, I mean, I went to, like, a strictly 12-step program, like, treatment facility, and that's what you learned was about a 12-step program. I sometimes wonder, like, if I had gone to, like, a real faith-based, like, treatment program, or, you know, treatment program or, you know, halfway house, if I would be like, that would be like me today, or if it's kind of like how the same way that I wonder, like, if I'd gone to a college campus, like, how my life would be different today, because, you know, I never did. And I think about that sometimes, like, you know, if I'd gone to, like, I don't know. But I don't think it makes a difference. I don't have anything against these, like, ritzy treatment programs, you know? I mean, if I was going to go back, I think I'd like to go to one of those, you know what I'm saying? Like, with swimming pools and yoga instructors and all that kind of stuff would be nice. I mean, I hope I don't ever have to go back to treatment again. Like, treatment was nice. It was like, I mean, even though I was, like, not, where I went at the time, just to make this clear, okay? Where I went at the time was a hospital treatment facility, okay? I mean, it's considered a hospital. It's not called a hospital anymore. But at that time, it was, like, called a hospital. And, I mean, it was hospital floors, it was nurses' stations, it was, like, shitty bathrooms. I mean, you shared a hospital room with 2 people, there were 2 beds. I mean, they tried to make it as nice as they could, but it was whatever. But it was considered a nice treatment program in Indianapolis at the time, you know? And there weren't really that many. There was, like, the other hospital, it had one, and I think it was nicer than the one that I was at. And so the one that I went to, where I went, was just because my dad knew the addictionologist that worked there, and it was close to where he worked, so he knew a lot about it. And I had gone to an outpatient program, I think definitely once, maybe twice there. And so that's why that was just where they took me that night. But I don't know that I think it would have made a difference. Like, when people ask me, like, do you think that I should, you know, they won't go anywhere unless they go to, like, the Meadows and it's $100,000. I'm like, send them to the Meadows if you have the money and you want to do it. Do I think it's going to secure your sobriety because you're paying more money for it? No. My mother was sober for, you know, 12 years and 11 months before she passed away. She never went to treatment at all. I know a lot of people that never went to treatment. Now, I do think that there are a lot of people that have to go to treatment because you have to be medically detoxed. And I would definitely consult with a physician, take them to the ER before you just let somebody detox at home. That's sure death. A lot of people can die just from detoxing at home. I think that's one of the things that we don't talk about. My mother, fortunately, was able, I mean, she wasn't drinking that heavy at the end, that when she decided just to go to meetings. But she would say to me, I'm kind of jealous of the fact that I didn't get to go to treatment, because I would have loved to have gone to groups and things like that, you know, and had individual therapy. But I know a lot of people that never went to meetings, or never went. I know a lot of people that didn't go to meetings that got sober. And I know a lot of people that didn't go to treatment programs that, you know, I know a lot of people that have been brought back to life 4 and 5 and 10 times, you know, from overdosing and Narcan shots. And I mean, I've heard everything. And I think the only thing that I think really works is when you love somebody enough to set boundaries and limits for them and you won't enable them anymore. And I don't think it matters what they go to the most magical treatment program in the entire world, you know? I don't. I've known people that have gone to treatment 30 times and are still struggling to get it together. And I know people that have gone to treatment 1 time or no times and got it the first time. There's no magic. But I do think the one thing that made it different to me between all the other times was that my dad was willing to set limits and boundaries, and everybody else kind of followed suit. So there was nowhere for me to turn unless I was just going to be on the road. And I wasn't the person at 22 and a half years old that was going to do that. I mean, there's a lot of people that I know that would have done that and just been like, F you, I'm taking off. I wasn't the person that was going to do that. I was too scared of my own shadow at that time. And I think they knew that. I think they knew Peter has no capability to take care of himself. So when I talk about my bottom, I think my bottom was my fear of homelessness, really. My fear of not being able to take care of myself, you know? And I'm grateful that my dad was, you know, my dad did all that. I don't think if it was for my dad, I wouldn't be here today. Which is why, you know, every year on my sobriety birthday, I'd always specifically call my dad and thank him for my sobriety, and he paid for my education and, you know, paid for treatment the last time and paid for all my treatments. But, you know, I'm incredibly grateful for that. Incredibly. Not only did my dad give me my life, but he also gave me another life by, you know, taking me to treatment that night. And when I think about that night, too, like when I think about the days after and how snowy it was and cold, it's like a really spiritual moment for me, you know? Like, I was talking to my dad not too long ago about it, and I said something about, he was like, 30 years. You know, it's crazy. It feels crazy. But also at the same time, it feels like a very small moment for me. Like, I don't, like, it was interesting because somebody was like, you should have a party. And I love that people say that, you know? Because a lot of people do. A lot of people at 20, 30 years would have a party, or even a year, you know? But my sobriety birthdays have always been, to me, very small moments where I, like, want to watch, like, just, you know, in all honesty, like, smoke a half pack of cigarettes and watch some sobriety movie or listen to a lead and drink a cup of coffee and remember the old days. I want to, like, drink a cup of coffee out of a styrofoam cup that night and remember the early days, you know? Like, we'll probably go out to eat somewhere like Perkins or something. I don't even know where there's a Perkins anymore. But like Perkins, because I want to remember the early days. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to remember. I want to remember the early days. I want to remember where I came from. Because I'm still here. And I'm crying because it's just like, it's miraculous, you know? Alex just got home. It's miraculous that that's where I came from. And somebody said I should do a video on my birthday of 30 things that I have received or accomplished as a result of my sobriety 30 years ago. And I think that's a great video. I might combine that with something else. And I think that that's a great suggestion. All right, I've vlogged for a long time now. So since he's coming in, I'm going to get off here. And I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Friday and a fantastic beginning to your weekend. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow, hopefully, on more of my channels. I love you guys, and I will see you then. Bye. Love ya.